Dr. Hushman, trustees, faculty, guests, family, and graduates of 2016, it is an honor and privilege for me to be with you today, indeed to be welcomed into this distinguished family at Rowan University. Graduates, you should know, and I'm sure you do, how proud you have made your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, teachers, and friends. Today is their day too. They deserve to share in your honor for standing behind you and believing in you. Some of you might have thought this day would never come. On any journey worth pursuing, there are daunting roadblocks. Doubts might have weighed on you while you felt the pressures of time, going to class, working a job, tending to family, and trying to find space for studying. Or maybe it was when you sat in a classroom and you puzzled over some complicated concept or formula, just didn't get it, and just seemed to be beyond your reach. Perhaps it was when a test came back with a disappointing mark and your heart sank. Maybe you wondered deep down whether you were really smart enough to be here at all. Well, you were, and in a few minutes you're going to get it in writing. Congratulations. As you very well know, it takes more than smarts to get through college. It takes persistence, determination, discipline. These are qualities that employers covet, of course, but they are also qualities that will serve you well in your life as you create the narrative for your own story. What will you stand for, and what difference will you make? When I was about your age, I remember thinking, if I am lucky enough to live until 60 or 70 or maybe even 90, will I be proud of the life I have led and the choices I have made? Will I be proud of that life? In our society, we talk a lot about happiness, as if it's the ultimate pursuit of life, the test of whether a life is well lived or not. But happiness is a sort of tricky concept to nail down. It's ephemeral, bliss is fleeting, and sometimes even blinding. A lot of very good people have gone down the wrong path in pursuit of happiness. Happiness, moreover, tends not to be something we can often really control. When life hands us terrible struggles, or when we watch those who we love endure pain or grief or loss, it's hard for us to summon feelings that might be described as happiness. But no matter the circumstances you face, your life can always have meaning. And that's something that is within our grasp. No matter how much money we make or not make, no matter how high one has climbed on the career ladder or who has slipped down that ladder, we always retain the power of meaning in our life. Meaning is not ephemeral. It is marked by our behavior and measured by our lived principles, the ones that really count to us. Do my actions reflect my values? Do I work in ways that pay honor to my profession or trade, to my colleagues, to my customers? Do I treat others with respect, no matter their socioeconomic ranking on the prestige scale? Like you, I have had the privilege of being taught by some brilliant and amazing professors. But the animating principle of my education was indoctrinated by a woman who never went to college, my late mother, Mary Frances Carr, who was a night shift waitress and the lecturer of a class that could have been called Life for Dummies. More times than I can count, she drilled into me this simple yet deeply sophisticated philosophy. No human being, she said, is superior or inferior to any other. Our degrees do not make us one syllable better, or any more worthy, or any more important than those who will never be serenaded by the strains of pomp and circumstance, or celebrated for lofty academic achievements. So while it's important in the work world to learn from the person who sits in the C-suite, we can also learn a lot from the person who sweeps the floors. I grew up in a family that had more troubles than money. I mention this not because I was special, because I was not. I know that plenty of you, like me, have traveled some bumpy roads. In recent years, education experts have increasingly lauded the importance of will and stamina to overcome obstacles. They call it grit. Every single one of us faces adversity, and in some form or another, it's part of the bargain of life, and a hard bargain that can sometimes be. For much of my adult life, I struggled to find success as an entrepreneur. Along the way, I endured plenty of disappointments and setbacks and failures. I remember too vividly the day I had to beg the repo man driving a tow truck not to haul away my car. I remember getting foreclosure notices because I was behind on my house payments and they were threatening to put my furniture out on the street. I know the feeling of seeing unpaid bills stack up, of getting calls from bill collectors, of seeing credit cards get canceled. They were difficult hardships, but they taught me a lot about what it feels like to struggle and to understand the tough times that other people are experiencing too, and to reach out when it's possible to lend a hand. Someone did that for me. When I was a high school senior in rural Illinois, someone gave me a break. I was awarded a $250 scholarship by the Women's Club in my hometown. I was stunned to receive it. Plenty of kids were smarter and had better grades than I. The money was helpful, but even more important was the recognition. It was like someone was saying to me, "Hey, Bob Carr, you are smart and capable, and you're worth an investment." And so are each of you Rowan University graduates. That scholarship felt so good to me, it made me think that if I ever have some extra money, I'm going to give it to the students who could use a break. I'm going to give something back. After years of struggle, I founded a company, Heartland Payment Systems, that achieved a lot of success. We became a Fortune 1000 company. We went from a startup of 25 employees 18 years ago to become a company with more than 4,600 employees, and the company was just sold for $4.3 billion 2 weeks ago. Our success made me a wealthy man, and lots of others. So I thought to myself, what does a guy do when he's got more money than he really needs? You go buy another house, or 10 more houses? You go buy a yacht? You go buy a private jet? Those things didn't really appeal to me. Instead, I decided to do something that would make me feel really good and make some other people feel good at the same time. I established the Give Something Back Foundation. I remembered how I felt when I was awarded that $250 scholarship as a senior in high school, and it was my turn to give back, to change the life of someone who might otherwise not be able to go to college, to watch parents and grandparents celebrate the success of a first-generation college student like many of you today. Our program has provided mentors and full-ride scholarships to about 500 Pell Grant eligible students. It's our goal to provide scholarships for at least another 2,000 kids and hopefully many more. The Give Something Back Foundation now has more than a dozen partner colleges helping to make this scholarship program a success. And I am incredibly proud that Rowan University was our first school in New Jersey. What a great institution. We're very proud to be aligned with Rowan. The millennials come in for a lot of guff. I want to talk about that for a minute. Millennials are described as having grown up in a culture of entitlement. Do you feel like you grew up in a culture of entitlement? And the mentality of a trophy for every kid. And frankly, I think it's so much bull. It's a cliched and overdrawn narrative. I think those stories are written by parents who are money-centric, who pursue comfort at the expense of challenge. This is not the world that most of the people I know. For the vast majority of us, those of us who did not grow up with the trappings of wealth, should consider ourselves lucky in the long run. And this is important. If you have known hardship and gained appreciation from the lessons of struggle, you are ahead of the game. You possess that earthy grit that employers everywhere are intensely seeking. those who have run into brick walls and who keep pushing, many eventually bust through those walls and find a whole new world in front of you. I can tell you from my own experience in business and with the foundation, I see a remarkable tool of talent with today's young people. And don't tell your parents I said this, but young people today tend to make smarter and healthier choices in life in the way they conduct their lives. Compared to their parents' generation, young people today are less likely to smoke cigarettes, engage in risky sexual behavior, or drive while drunk. You are the most racially and ethnically diverse generation in American history. You have grown up being more accepting of differences, a wonderful attribute in this world where people need to learn to get along a heck of a lot better. Young people today bring a genuine commitment to a shared well-being, whether it's promoting a thriving workplace or making this planet a better place. A recent Pew study identified the top 3 priorities of the millennials: being a good parent, having a successful marriage, and helping others in need. At the bottom of the list, registering a scant 1%, was the desire to become famous. The millennials get it. Yet another study points to numbers that show the millennials have more social consciousness than any other generation. More than 70% of young people believe they can derive happiness by working for a firm that makes some sort of positive social impact. And there's this, some 60% of you say they would take a cut in pay to work for an honorable organization. Still, other studies show that more than 80% of millennials say that making a difference in the world is more important than professional recognition. And 92% believe that businesses should be measured by more than just their profitability. This distinguished class as well includes graduates who are not millennials, those who have traveled some important miles on life's journey since high school days, those who have worked at jobs, cared for family, tended to business, and then came back to the classroom. These are graduates whose courage of convictions, tenacity, wisdom, and sheer force of will gives inspiration to classmates, teachers, and to all of us. Their experiences and contributions enrich and fortify a Rowan ethos that all of us share, because we are family. Class of 2016, keep the faith. You are changing the world for the better. I congratulate you, I admire you, and I am pulling for you. Enjoy this tremendous day. Thank you.
The awarding of honorary degrees is a long-standing tradition at Rowan University. We select individuals whose accomplishments are meritorious and provide inspiration to our graduates and to the entire university community. Today, we honor such a person. Robert O. Carr has been a staunch supporter of higher education, providing scholarships and guidance to young people from disadvantaged and working class background through his Give Something Back Foundation. Mr. Carr has been an extraordinary leader in the business community and has built a reputation as a trailblazer for ethical reform in his field. And his civic involvement includes a wealth of initiatives, such as serving as a trustee and advisory board member for museums and historical societies in New Jersey and in our nation's capital. Dr. Noon and Chairman Rowan, please join me at the podium. Chairman Rowan, it's my privilege and pleasure to recommend to you that the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities be presented to Robert O. Carr for his contributions to business, his civic engagement, his commitment to improving access to higher education for disadvantaged youth.
Mr. President, I am pleased to receive this recommendation. By the authority granted to me as chairman of the Rowan University Board of Trustees, today we honor ourselves as we bestow upon Mr. Robert Carr the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.